Hi, I'm Hannah. This is Theology Therapist. Welcome. So last week I talked a little bit about the practice of walking, which I learned on the Camino de Santiago. And this week I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about this saying that we had when walking the Camino. So when walking the Camino, there is a saying, and I don't know if it was just our group or if it was everybody. I think it was everybody, but I'm not sure. The saying was, the Camino provides. So let me tell you a little bit more about that. When I walked the Camino de Santiago, the most common saying that you heard was Buen Camino. And you said that whenever you passed somebody or whenever you said bye or hi, or it was like literally always saying Buen Camino. And it just means have a nice walk, basically. But right after that, the most common saying that I heard was probably the Camino provides. So the meaning of it is flexible, I would say. And that's probably the case because it can mean different things to different people. Like, where are we gonna sleep tonight? Oh, the Camino provides. Or if you're not sure you're going the right way, the Camino might provide in the form of an older Frenchman, or who you can ask directions from, or maybe yellow arrows pointing you the right way. Are you having hip problems or other kind of body aches and pains or blisters? This unfortunately happens when you walk all day. And if you, let's say, are having hip problems, the Camino could provide by, say, having a physiotherapist that you happen to be walking with, or seeing a doctor who passes by who can attend to you. Now, while those examples are all true, they actually did all happen. For me, the real meaning of the Camino provides is this trust in life. It's a trust in life that it's gonna work out, that the arrow will appear, or the right person will pass by, or maybe you just might happen to meet your eventual life partner on the road. The Camino is all about giving up resistance and allowing experience, allowing emotions, allowing blisters and muscle soreness. And to that end, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience with this. So I originally started walking with hiking boots, but I had tried to break them in a little bit, like the week before I left, didn't really. And the first few days of walking, my feet were just covered in blisters. And so I had my chacos with me, which are we'll say hiking sandal. So I decided to send my hiking boots back to REI, get a refund, and walk the rest of the way in my chacos. And that was a great decision on my part, actually. I do most of my hiking in sandals, in chacos and hiking sandals, and will wear boots in the winter when there's snow or when I have to. Fast forward about 3.5 weeks in, and of walking, at least 8 hours a day. And we were walking to the 100-kilometer mark to say, there are 100 kilometers left. And the person that I had been walking with, we decided to split up from the larger group that we had formed, because we wanted to get to Santiago a day before they wanted to. We were all going to meet up there, but we wanted to get there a day before. So we split up from the group and we, are walking our path. And what happens is that, this is going to be kind of a gross story, so if you're sensitive, I'm sorry about that. You might want to just try to mute this part, but maybe not. I don't know. You can do it. So what happened was I had more than one. I had a few blisters that were on right under my ankle, on the inside of my foot. So on the inside of my leg, I had a whole handful of blisters, and they thought that they were going to be fine. I was kind of treating them and it's whatnot, but they ended up getting infected. Ugh, gross, sorry. So what ended up happening, so we kept a pretty good pace, I would say, for the average Camino. And what ended up happening was I couldn't walk. I was in like extreme pain because it hurt so bad to walk. And we had split up from our friends, from our group. Our normal pace of walking was, I don't know, we were doing between like maybe 25 and 33 kilometers a day. I can't tell you what that is in miles, I'm not really sure. The morning this happens, I wake up and I am like scooting along. I am barely getting 4 kilometers an hour. I'm walking extremely slow because I'm in so much pain and I'm having to stop all the time. I was trying to grin and bear it, but it was rough. And so the first town that we walked to is the town that kind of marks the last 100 kilometers. So we go and we find a pharmacy there, which pharmacies if you've been to Europe, you probably know this, but pharmacies in Spain are kind of a little bit more professional than potentially like in the US, say. And so she doctored up my blister and I had big old bandages on my foot and everything was kind of a mess. And I was just so beat down. It was real rough. So at this point I was so disappointed because we weren't going to be able to walk as far as we were planning to walk that day, and we were still trying to get there a day ahead of schedule. And so we walk out of the pharmacy, and on this road, random road in this random town, comes our friends walking down the road, singing and laughing, and there I am hobbling, and our friends come walking down the road. And I just was for me, that was the moment of the Camino provides, was exactly what I needed when I was most down. And we walked through the town together. We ended up stopping, resting, grabbing a Coke or something refreshing, and then walking outside of the town, maybe no more than 5 kilometers. And we were gonna keep walking, but they convinced us to stay there, and there was a pool there, and it was just, it was that feeling of being in company, in good company, the feeling of being surrounded by loved ones and cared for. And I share that story because for me, that's the sort of message behind, or that's the power of the Camino provides. When you're most down, or when it seems most bleak, and I don't want to say my infected blister was the most bleak thing that there was, but it was just a little rough, right? That the Camino provides, that a way opens up, and that without resistance and by allowing your experience, it's possible for something good to come out of that. It's possible for something that you couldn't have expected to happens. So I'm curious if you've ever done something like the Camino, what your experience was. I'm also curious if this metaphor of the Camino provides, or of trusting in life, if that resonates with you, or if you have one of your own that kind of what your mantra is, what is your thing that gets you through that tough day. This for me is mine, is knowing that the Camino does provide, whether that's the Camino itself, whether that's God or the universe or me, that trust in life, that it happens and it works out, and that it often works out whenever I've let go of whatever the thing is that I wanted to be. And so I would love to hear if you have any of those, like a saying or a thing of your own. If you want to leave it in the comment, I would love that. Thanks for being here. Make sure to press subscribe so you get a notification for next week's episode. You don't want to miss it. We've got some special holiday themed episodes coming up soon. So be well, and I'll see you soon.